Thanks for your support as a channel member, Charlie Pears. Well, our unbeaten start to the season may have ended yesterday, but your awesome unbeaten record of hitting 1,000 likes on the videos per day continued. In fact, yesterday's video, already more likes than the day before, which is crazy. Massively appreciated. The support on this series so far has been mind-blowing, and it is massively appreciated. I would love it if we could keep it going, if we could hit 1,000 likes again on today's episode. That would be awesome. And of course, if you are new to the channel, subscribe, turn your notifications on, all that good stuff. There is also a link down in the description for how you can buy your copy of FM20, including the beta, for less than 30 quid, much cheaper than it is on Steam. And we signed another player, we did another big signing. I'm spending more money, everybody. Hello and welcome to part 6 of my FM20 beta save with Manchester United. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we have a couple of league games for you. We're at home against Villa, we're away against Tottenham, and more importantly, I'm going to show you some transfers. But first, in fact, do the transfers get spoilt by showing you the screen? No, because I've not got goal scorers on. Excellent. So, form since you were last with me has been pretty good. We obviously had the last episode, which was a bit of a disaster. We had another slip-up against Chelsea where we lost 2-1. To be honest, it was a couple of late goals from Chelsea. We played quite well in that game. It just... yeah, it wasn't ideal. We also scored the best goal you'll ever see in Football Manager. I think I did just spoil some of the signings there, but you know, you'll see them in a second anyway. But I want to show you this goal from Markus Rushford. If you follow me on Twitter or watched my streams, at my stream last night, you would have already seen this. But it's there's been a lot of people saying you can't score one-on-one goals in FM20. Not only can you score one-on-one goals, you can score some pretty spectacular ones. And I don't ever remember seeing a better goal than this. Rashford picked the ball up from the Bournemouth corner. He's run the full length of the pitch and then scored with a one-on-one. It is possible to do. And we're also through to the 5th round of the FA Cup as well. This is what the Premier League table looks like. 24 games gone. We're in 5th place. We're not in this title race anymore. Liverpool have just gone from strength to strength since beating us. We're 10 points behind them. But we are very much in the hunt for a Champions League finish, which was the goal for the season. If you remember from Club Vision, our goals for this season, we need to reach the Europa League final. We're on course for that. Qualify for the Champions League. I mean, they're disappointed at the moment, but with 3 points off second place, and also a semi-final of the FA Cup. But we're not doing too bad. I think if we can continue losing as few games as we do, we should be able to force our way into that top 4 finish, which will be excellent. Pogba, one of the best players in the Premier League as well. And moving on to those signings, you already knew about Odsonne Edouard from yesterday. He is in, cost us £39.5 million. Started with a bang as well. His debut was sensational because he scored one, made one, got man of the match. It was the perfect debut. Unfortunately, he's only scored once more since then, but you know, you can't have everything. He's not showing us having as much potential as the scouts reckoned he had, but that could be because Colin Little isn't as much of a good judge of players as some of our scouts are. In fact, none of our coaching staff are really that hot on judging players. There you go. This guy's better at judging potential and immediately rates him a little bit higher. So clearly, you need to be an expert to understand the joys of Odsonne Edouard. He's already an elite level striker, though, age 22. So I think we've picked up a good signing there. And then the one that you probably didn't expect to see, unless you saw the thumbnail, because I probably put him on the thumbnail, is Christian Eriksen. We had money left. He was on the transfer list at Tottenham, out of contract at the end of the season. So we were able to pick him up for £33 million, which I think is a little bit of a steal for a player who is better than what we already had in the position that he plays. So as an attacking midfielder, better than Pogba, better than James Rodriguez, can also play in central midfield where he's better than everyone at the club except for Pogba. He can play out wide where he's almost as good as Gnabry on the left wing. He's not much of a right winger, but you know, he can do everything else. Christian Eriksen will get plenty of game time, and bringing him in allowed me to clear out some more of the Deadwood. So looking at the Deadwood Clearing facility, you already knew that we'd sold Fred. We moved Dimitri Mitchell on because he was out of contract at the end of the season. We weren't going to use him. Juan Mata has left the club on loan just to get his wages paid by someone, really. He wasn't going to get in our team. No one wanted to buy him, but we were able to ship him out. Jesse Lingard's gone to Tottenham for £22 million. It's basically a swap deal. We've given Tottenham £11 million and Jesse Lingard for Christian Eriksen. and we're all giggling about it. Phil Jones has left the club on loan to Brighton with a future fee arranged in there if they decide they want to keep him. We've moved on Lee Grant, Dion McGee. Aidan Barlow has left the club as well. We've moved out quite a lot of players to make room in the squad for Christian Eriksen, and this is what our team report now looks like. So we've got our 3 good strikers. We've got a good selection of players, certainly on the left wing. Right wing, we could probably do with another player. Daniel James is our backup player on the right wing, but he's not as good in game as everyone is telling me he is in the comments. So we might be looking at a new right winger in the summer. Attacking midfield, we've got Eriksen, we've got Rodriguez, we've got Pereira. Pogba can play there as well. Central midfield, Pogba, Eriksen, Goretzka, Pereira, McTominay. We could probably move one of them on still. Gaia and Shaw there. Wan-Bissaka and Dalot there. Maguire, Bailly, Lindelof. We've got the Tuanzebe chap as well. The Tuanzebe. Wow. And, of course, De Gea and Romero as options in goal. So I think it's a well-balanced squad. We could still afford to trim some players. We could probably... I know I only signed him in the summer, but that was before I realised I could get Eriksen. I could probably move James Rodriguez on in the summer. Maybe, I don't know, maybe one of these midfielders as well. It's going to be Goretzka, isn't it? No, because Eriksen is very much part of the attacking midfield. I think James Rodriguez might move on in the summer, and probably Sanchez will have to go, and Chris Smalling when he returns. I mean, Rojo, Jones and Smalling are all only out on loan, so there's going to be still business to do in the summer. But after all that shuffling everybody around, we're still doing all right money-wise. We've still got loads of spare wage budget. We've still got transfer budget left. So I think that counts as another successful transfer window. But, of course, it's only as successful as our results on the pitch make it. So we're playing Aston Villa in the Premier League. Villa, I think, are bottom of the league. Let's just double-check. Yeah, Villa, rock bottom of the Premier League. Only 10 points so far this season. So this should be a game where we can put on a little bit of a show. That's the plan anyway. We're going with De Gea in goal, a back four of Gaia, Maguire, Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka, McTominay and Pogba in midfield, Rashford, Eriksen and Gnabry behind Edouard up front. And I want to see my 2 new boys showing off today. I want to show that it was money well spent in January. And I can't believe that Goretzka and Rodriguez now can't get into our team. Certainly not into our first choice 11. It's nice to have them in. As I would rather have James Rodriguez as a backup attacking midfielder than Jesse Lingard. So I think we're still definitely improving things. Right, a team such as ours should be beating them without any problem at all. Obviously, that's the case. And fingers crossed, that's exactly what happens. And we've got 2 players immediately chasing down the ball. They're desperate. They want to score early on. They want to show off for you, which I can understand. They should want to show off. It's been a little while since we've shown a match. It's back in mid-December and it's now February. So we've done that whole transfer window thing. We've had another successful month in January. So we want to keep this good run of form going and show you how snazzy we are. Markus Rushford now actually has some competition on that left-hand side because he's competing with Martial for the left-hand side inside forward position, because Edouard is... I mean, in my mind, Edouard's my striker. Greenwood is probably my backup striker, although he's gone out on loan to Newcastle, I think, for the rest of the season, just to try... I think it was Newcastle he went to, just to try and get some goals into him in the Premier League. So he, long-term, is my backup, but obviously Rashford and Martial are knocking about the place for the rest of this season, if needed. But I think I know we're only halfway through. I do still need to finish in the Champions League spots, or I'll probably get sacked. But I think even if the season ended right now, is Harry Maguire getting sent off here? No. Didn't even get booked. How do you do a red card review and then not even book him? That seems a bit weird. But I think if the season ended right now and we finish 5th, I think it's huge positive steps in the right direction for Manchester United compared to where they are in real life. So, I don't know. I don't think I'd sack me. I think I've performed quite well so far. And we should, theoretically, only get better. Christian Eriksen with the shot that goes just over from the edge of the area. And now it's Villa with the goal kick. We are still playing the tiki-taka system. But I am also slowly but surely transitioning this squad of players into a squad that's going to suit the beautiful gegenpress that we're almost certainly going to start training in pre-season and use next year. I don't know that we're going to switch to the gegenpress this year now because the tiki-taka has been working so well, but long term it's definitely where we're heading. We just probably need a couple more players to make it work, and then all will be right in the world. And we'll go and win the Premier League next year, and everyone will be happy. Gaia now, on the left-hand side, plays it into Rashford. Rashford back to Gaia again, all the way back to McTominay, to Pogba, back out to Wan-Bissaka. We can keep the ball like the best in the business. Wan-Bissaka, that's brilliant. Finds Gnabry. Edouard's in, and there you go. It's his third goal since arriving a month ago. He's already scoring far more prolifically than Martial did before him, and it's 1-0 to Manchester United, 38 minutes on the clock. I was just about to ask you as well, a few people, when I've been talking tactics, have suggested the vertical tiki-taka. Let me know down in the comments, what's the advantage of the vertical tiki-taka over the ordinary tiki-taka that we're using at the moment? I'm saying tiki-taka too much. The words don't even seem real anymore. But should I be giving that a try before jumping straight into the gegenpress? Or should we persist with the tiki-taka a little bit longer? Let me know your thoughts. Right, we're going to guard against complacency. I am glancing down at the bench as well, just with a view to the Tottenham game that's coming up, because Tottenham are a team we're very much competing with for these European spots. I think if we can defeat Tottenham in the second part of this episode, I think that almost finishes them off as far as a Champions League push comes this season. Certainly if Arsenal, Chelsea and City all win at the same time as well, because that's going to push us all like 8, 9, 10 points ahead of Tottenham and really make it a clear top 5 with 12, 13 games to go. Liverpool pretty much champions elect already, and the 4 remaining clubs battling for 3 additional Champions League spots, and we're all having pretty good seasons, and it's going to be interesting to see who ends up missing out. I hope it's not us. You can see we're scoring a decent amount of goals. Only Arsenal, and in fact Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City scoring more than us, but we don't lose many games. And what we probably need to do is learn to convert some of these draws into wins, which, again, we've been talking about that all season. That's something we've identified. A lot of the time, the games where we perhaps should have won that we drew were because we didn't have that lethal finisher. And I'm hoping we have him now, and it's going to be less of an issue. Right, we're going to bring on Martial and Rodriguez. That's a substitution we couldn't make before the transfers. So that's a nice position to get ourselves into. That shows just how much stronger this squad is now. Rather than bringing on Daniel James as an example, we can bring on Martial and Rodriguez. And Leon Goretzka as well as the final substitution. I'm fixing this squad, not just the first team. We're developing a squad that looks more like a Manchester United level squad to me. I still think we probably need one more world-class striker. Whether that ends up being Mason Greenwood or whether we go and get someone maybe a little bit older if we can find someone available in the summer, depending on how much money we get. So I don't think we need to bring in as many players next summer. But the ones that we do bring in, I kind of want them to be players who can get straight into this first team and make a big difference. Rodriguez now plays it to Goretzka. Goretzka plays it all the way back to Maguire. Maguire has a few options, finds Wan-Bissaka, who's on the overlap. He's got Gnabry inside him, plays it to Edouard, and it's just over from him. And it's still 1-0. We've absolutely spanked Villa here. 35 shots, 67% possession, 16 shots on target. Villa have had 0 shots. We're still not prolific enough in front of goal, are we? But importantly, we have won the match, which I guess is all that really matters. But I think we're going to need to be a little bit more prolific against Tottenham, because I don't think they're going to let us have 35 shots with no reply. Just the one change for the Tottenham game then, and it is a result of illness. We've got a little bit of an illness thing going around the club. Romero has got a cold. Victor Lindelof, the one who's been replaced in the team, has a virus. There was someone else who had food poisoning as well. It might have been Pereira. I think Pereira had food poisoning, but lots of illnesses, lots of different illnesses. But Tuanzebe comes in to play alongside Maguire at centre-back. I've not really given him much of an opportunity yet this season. He started a couple of games. It was a bit of a coin flip between him and Eric Bailly. people kept telling me to use Tuanzebe, so I'm using him today. If he ends up being rubbish, I'm blaming all the people who were saying, Kev, where's Tuanzebe? Well, if he's rubbish today, that's where he was. I expect to see Bailly as my backup again in future. But let's get this team submitted. Tuanzebe's not match fit either. I'm not afraid. You're afraid. It'll be fine. Jesse Lingard is not in the Tottenham team, which is very sad. There he is down on the bench. Hopefully we'll get to see him at some point. Christian Eriksen, of course, is in our team. We do want to move into the continental qualification spot. We're up to 4th. We did go up to 3rd for the last match, but look how close things are at the top of the league here. Obviously, Liverpool running away with it, but everyone from Man City down to Chelsea, I think it was, who was behind us, all on 58 points, although Chelsea have just gone ahead in their game, pushing them above us and us down to 5th place, hopefully temporarily. And of course, Man City and Arsenal have played a game fewer than us or Chelsea. So we need to make sure we make up for that and beat them when we play them. We haven't done that. We haven't been beating them. But Gnabry's in here. Can he score against Tottenham? I hear he has a habit of doing that, but he doesn't on that occasion. And Tottenham with the chance to break through Son. There's nobody in the middle, which is handy, and Harry Maguire is able to clear out into the stands. The whole Tottenham team are uninterested currently, which is an interesting development, their lack of interest. Because you'd think they'd want to beat Manchester United. It's a very important game for them. If they've got any ambitions of getting into the Champions League this season, this is a must-win game for them. Whereas we can come here, draw, and still be in the mix. Looking at how the points are setting up at the moment, although obviously a win would do us the world of good. And Edouard's in there, and that's a header. Just over, the cross came in from Gaia, and Edouard needed to do a little bit better there. We'll cut him a little bit of slack because he's still new. We win the ball back again from Tottenham clearance. Rashford playing it out to Gaia, who's crossed all the way over to Wan-Bissaka. More of a switch of play rather than a cross, but his cross comes into Rashford, who heads over. I think if we're going to be aiming crosses into the box, they probably need to be aimed towards Edouard rather than Rashford. Because, you know, one of them is 6'2" and good in the air, and the other one's Markus Rushford. But what do I know? Right, we've been a better team here. Just keep doing what you're doing. We'll be fine. We have. Looking at the stats, again, 60% possession, way more shots than them. There've been a lot of wasteful shots from outside the area. I'm always tempted to fiddle with the work ball into the box setting and just try and get us to maybe shoot less from range and less wastefully. Which is something we might need to work on in this second half. But it's not like it's a game where we've already had 20 shots. Chances are a little bit harder to come by against Tottenham. And now they've cleared it up down our right-hand side. Wan-Bissaka clears, but only as far as Ndombele. And Pogba wins it back off him. There you go. The battle of players who are... The guy who was in my FIFA Ultimate Team to the guy I want to replace him with when I can afford him. That's what was going on there. Right, another ball over the top from Tottenham. Son is in behind. Can De Gea keep him out? He can. Thank goodness you can't score one-on-ones in Football Manager 20. Yikes. David De Gea with a lovely save. And now it's Walker-Peters taking a corner for Tottenham. And it's cleared as far as Eriksen, who didn't really look like he did anything with it. I think it would be a good opportunity for 10 minutes of passion from here. Wan-Bissaka plays it forward to Gnabry, who has Wan-Bissaka on the overlap, but in fact finds Christian Eriksen, plays it back to Pogba, ball over the top for Rashford. Rashford is in here. Can he apply a finish? He can't. It's a lovely tackle from Sanchez for Tottenham. And I think we are cancelling each other out a little bit here. We might need to mix things up and try something a little bit different. But like I said, I'm loath to get too ambitious against them because a draw is an okay result for us, whereas it's not really good enough for them. So they're going to have to push out and try and beat us at some point, at which point we can hopefully capitalise on it. Pogba with the cross in. There is Rashford. Told you he was good in the air. An 11th goal of the season now for Markus Rashford, who I think is now our top scorer. And certainly in the absence of Mason Greenwood, Pogba was pushing him close for a little while. But Rashford, as the season gone on, is really growing into and blossoming in this inside forward role. And that is a lovely header from a lovely cross, puts us 1-0 up on 53 minutes. And now why are we watching it a third time? Tell me it's not being disallowed. Whew. Okay, that panicked me for a little minute there because I was in the middle of my Markus Rashford superlatives. but he's done very well. Tottenham not being battered by Christian Eriksen today. He's one of the weaker players on the pitch at the moment. I think James Rodriguez will be coming on in the near future, but Ratchford is away down this left-hand side again, plays it into Edouard, who scores again. He's finding his feet here at Manchester United now. 4th goal of the season for Odsonne Edouard. In fact, 4th goal for us. He already had about 15 from the first half of the season with Celtic, and he's starting to score a little bit more often for us as well. And Rashford instrumental in this move again. Markus Rushford does not want to give up his inside forward spot to Martial, and we're 2-0 up on 65 minutes, and all of a sudden everything looking a little bit more comfortable as we start to convert a couple of chances. Right, McTominay can come off for Goretzka, Eriksen can come off for Rodriguez. I love the fact we're able to make changes like this, because they are two very, very, very good players to bring on. For context there, in the beta last year, managing Bayern Munich, we won the Champions League in our 2nd season, I think, and Goretzka and James Rodriguez were both starting 11 in the Champions League final. And I don't think they've got that much worse in the 12 months since then. And for them to be players who aren't starting for us here at Manchester United, that to me is a really, really positive sign that we're moving in the right direction. Rashford is in behind again here and forces the save out of the Spurs keeper, but Rashford is causing them all kinds of trouble with his pace and just general Rashfordness down that left-hand side. And we are up to 2nd in the league as things stand as well. Chelsea 3-0 up in their game, but I guess I think we were above Chelsea before things started, so I think they're the one team we do have a better goal difference than. Rashford spraying it out wide to Gnabry, who's been quiet today, but plays it back into Rashford, and Rashford scores again. A 12th goal of the season for Rashford, and this is becoming easy now. And Markus Rashford has pretty much single-handedly grabbed this game by the scruff of the neck and decided we're going to stuff Tottenham. And it's the Markus Rashford show at the moment, and he's very quickly turning a slow start and a panic because we didn't have a goal scorer into a very, very good season where it looks like we had our goal scorer all along. He's just doing it from the wing. If we have a little look at Markus Rashford, already before the game started, had his highest goals ever in a season at 10. He's up to 12 now from 26 appearances. That's not bad playing out on the wing. Right, for a final change, let's just check fitness levels. Wan-Bissaka looks like he's tiring, so Dalot can come on for him. It's a little bit more game time for Dalot as well, which isn't going to do him any harm at all. This game is already won, and having started the episode saying we were no longer in a title race, I can't help but see that with 12 games still to go, we're now only 5 points behind Liverpool again, and we still have to play them at home. I know they've got a game in hand on us, but if we carry on in the kind of form that we're showing today against Tottenham, who are very much rivals for a Champions League spot, maybe the title race isn't completely over. You'd got to think, if you're a Manchester United fan watching this, I think you'd be wanting this team to push on and really push Liverpool all the way from this point on. Tuanzebe, that's the first time I've noticed him today, so that tells me he had quite a good game because he didn't do anything dumb. Dalot trying to cross for Rashford for the hat-trick, but it can't quite work its way through. Gaia has to chase back here. He's missed out to Sissoko, who is in and should probably score, but De Gea does De Gea things again, makes the save. I like the fact that this is an impressively different kind of performance from us today. We've not utterly dominated possession. We've not had 30 shots, but we've been much more effective with what we have done. I think that's disallowed. It is disallowed. And we've had 4 clear-cut chances from our 13 shots. We're creating a lot more good quality stuff. And I think a lot of that is due to the performance of that young man wearing our number 10 shirt. I am very happy with the way we played today. We are very much in the mix for this title race, and let's have a look to see what we're going to do when we come back tomorrow. I know we've got PSV in the Europa League to play. I'm not going to show you that because I think that theoretically should be a bit of a formality. That's a team we should be able to comfortably beat. If the Europa League starts to get interesting later on, then I'll start showing you some of that. But the priority really is the league. And looking ahead, I think that Manchester City-Arsenal doubleheader is going to be must watch. and Liverpool there as well. Some big games coming up, but we'll be back tomorrow for Manchester City and Arsenal, unless something really interesting happens in one of the cups and I decide to come back a bit sooner. But that we could be having some title deciding stuff tomorrow, which will be awesome. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.